No comply frontside big spin flips are a great trick to have on lock. It's a great way to warm up or to get turned around in a line. You can do it on banks or pretty much anywhere. But the secret to this trick is that it's really easy. It's like pop shove it easy. And is low risk and low impact, which is good for people like me. I have a knee injury and can only skate for a little while before it starts to hurt. And that's part of the reason I love no comply tricks so much. But despite being easy and safe, it still feels really cool to do. It's a big spin flip, so you get to see the board flipping like crazy and then coming together under your feet. Alright, so let's get started. My foot position for this trick is about like this. Front foot anywhere you normally do your no comply tricks. If you need help with the basics of no complies, I will leave a link to an older trick tip for that in the description. My back foot is pretty much like this. Every no comply trick in one way or another is a pressure flip. It's really important to have your weight in the right spot to preload the board so that it'll flip when you scoop it. So I have mine like this. I would say about 75% of my weight is on the base of my big toe, like right there. You won't be able to see that in the video, but having your weight in the right spot is how you get the board to tip over and start flipping, so it's really important. Alright, when you're ready to start, open up your shoulders front side and step off with your front foot. If you need a quick refresher, it looks like this. You slide your front foot off the side and then kind of pivot onto your heel to get a little bit more clearance. And the more you turn your foot, the less you'll have to rotate in the air because you'll have it started already. Alright, so when you scoop the board, it helps to be a lot more vertical than flat. With your front foot here on the ground, the board needs to go up between your legs and not be so flat that it runs into your leg. So with that in mind, scoop the tail out in front of you. This will get the board spinning and load the flip. Alright, as you step off, follow through with the motion going forward. As you can see, my board has a razor tail on the toe side. Now you would think normally with a front side trick it would scoop on the heel side, but that should give you an idea of what's actually happening here. Alright, at this point, when you're in the air, you're pretty much done. The board will either flip or it won't, but with your foot on the ground, you can easily decide whether you're going to hop back on it or just walk it out. So, as you're learning, you can do pretty much the whole trick without even attempting to land it. You can just scoop the board, throw it, wait for it to do its thing, and then maybe put your foot down and just kind of mark the trick, get a feel for how it will function. And as you get more consistent with that flip, you can start hopping back on. Now try not to jump too late or it'll look like you're cheating. Okay, so what do you do if you're not getting the flip? Let's take a step back for a minute and look at no comply varial heel flips. I think most people can skip this and go straight for the big spin flip, but it's easier to focus on just the flip when there's less going on. So if you need special help with that, we can look at this. Another thing is it's a bit harder, so if you can figure this out, then the big spin will be no problem. For the varial heel flips, put your back foot forward, more like this, with as much pressure on the side of the tail as you can. Again, it's all in the big toe. Now you pop almost entirely straight down with just a slight push forward. With your front foot in the way, the spin will have to be close to vertical. So it's actually more like a 1 1/4 flip to make up for the off-axis spin. You could even go a step further and learn the no comply laser flip. Again, I think that's harder and not quite as cool, but it might be worth trying if you're still struggling. The issue with this version of the trick is that it feels like you're playing with a skip it. The first spin goes through your legs, then you have to jump over the second one. It's not quite as fluid as the big spin. The good part is that you aren't making up for that off-axis spin because it's doing a full 360. Okay, so when you get the pressure right and the board is starting to flip correctly, come back to the big spin. Even with a different foot position, it should still feel the same. With the pressure right, scoop your board forward as you step off at an angle. Wait for it to come around and try to catch it as you land it. With some practice, you can get close to 100% consistent with this trick. Now, there are different ways you can take it once you learn it. You can either land it in a pivot, like a gazelle or a rewind, or something I like to do is add in an extra body rotation and turn it into a 360 no comply flip. Or the new thing that everyone is doing is landing a no comply into another no comply, so that's always an option too. Well, that's about it with this trick. If you're new to no complies in general, it might take a little while to get the balance and timing, but it's worth it. So get out there and give it a try. Thanks for checking out this edition of Shred School. On the left, you'll see the last trick I taught, backside big spins. On the right is my recent review of Skate It for the Wii. Subscribe with the button below to stay up to date.